Hello.
Hey,
How's it going?
I'm alright, you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Quite excited for this.
Me too, me too. Should be a fun time. So pretty much how this works, I just have a bunch of questions prepared and we'll just kind of go through them.
Sick.
All right. What's your earliest memory of magic?
My earliest memory of magic was I went to this UK place called Butlins and they this like kids entertainer was selling those like stupid light up thumbs. And as like a 6 year old, my hands were way too small for those. But I bought that and I thought I was the coolest kid around. I can tell you that now. And I still have them to this day somewhere buried in my chest of magic equipment.
Nice. Are you ever gonna use them for a video?
Again, small hands,
Oh,
obviously
okay.
fake.
Well, if you move around enough, you should be good.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a go.
Fair, fair. What originally got you into magic? Was it that experience or was it something different?
Nah, so when I first properly got into magic, I was like 11, and my head teacher at the time taught me a card trick because I'd learned one of those magic tricks where I was like, think of a number, add this, add that, times it by this, and you get a number produced at the end of it. And I showed it to like, all my teachers, all my friends. That I was so cool, as you
Mhm.
can imagine, knowing this one trick. And then my head teacher was like, "Oh, sick!" Like, taught me that like card trick that even like non-magicians knows. They have 21 cards, and you
Yeah,
put them in rows, you put them in piles. And I learned that, and the reaction of like the joy it brought to others and the reaction made me just fall in love with it. And so I kind of just fell down a rabbit hole at that age of YouTube videos and just really got invested. And then when I started getting okay, at, like the basic slights, COVID hit when I was like 13, and what else did I have to do? Schoolwork or card tricks? Like, let's be
fair.
real.
All right. So what keeps you in magic? Because I know the reason most people stay in magic's different than the reason they got into it.
So the reason that I stuck originally, a lot of it was just to be liked and just to have friends. Um, Now it is joy to others. Like it really is that bringing positivity into the world and making having people feel that like real moment, that like magic moment that just brightens up their day or makes them forget about life for a 2 minute trick or something.
Makes sense. So what caused you to want to start posting tricks online?
Um, Funny story. I've always wanted to post stuff online, even from a young age. Before I even got into magic, I was posting like meme accounts or edits of like my favorite TV shows, and even in that like COVID time, I posted online videos, and I was reaching 50 views max, and I thought that was crazy. Um, and then it all happened because Deadpool and Wolverine came out,
Hmm.
and I and obviously there was I'm a big X-Men fan, and in the film was a character called Gambit. I'm sure assuming you're familiar, is like
Oh yeah.
the X-Men magicians, and anyone who follows my Twitter page knows I'm a huge X-Men fan. Like I dyed my hair to like Rogue, so I literally made a post being like, "Hey, I look like Rogue, but I do card tricks like Gambit," and it just blew up.
Okay.
And I was like, "Whoa, it's crazy!" It got like 50,000 views or something, and I kind of just thought like, "Wow, like this is something people are actually interested in." And I thought it was a one off. And I posted another one, 100,000 views. And I
Wow.
was like, crazy. So I just kept going. And what, 9 months later, I'm at 85,000 followers, which I think is crazy.
Did you think your account would get as big as it has?
No,
Fair.
genuinely, I thought I'd have one video that blew up, and I was like, sick. I posted the other one, it was going to have no views, but
Mhm.
it, yeah. I mean, social media, it's very, very up and down. But again,
Definitely.
followers and numbers aren't why I do it. So
Mhm. All right. What caused you to want to be consistent with your posting and post almost daily?
it's fun.
Fair.
And again, like I get getting those, I get a lot of messages from people. Like I don't normally respond to them with the sheer amount I get, but there is. always those few messages of like, hey, I was like really struggling with my mental health and watching your videos has helped me, or hey, I'm young. A young girl messaged me. She's like 11. She's like, oh, I'm getting into car trips because of you. It's like those little things like that which just make me want to post more, even on days where I don't feel like doing it. I'm doing it for someone else because when I was that age, I didn't have a female magician to look up to.
Okay, okay. Do you typically like pre-record your videos and then like post them on different days, or do you like film and post the same day?
And how lazy I am.
That's fair.
So,
Okay.
sometimes I will sit and I'll put 15 videos in a bunch of different outfits and I'll like post them, every day. Sometimes I'll even like repost videos,
Hmm.
like older videos if I haven't got the time to post them. As when I was sort of making videos, I was sitting these exams we do in England called like our A levels, which are like the biggest exams you do before you go to university. They're like a big deal. And so I just wouldn't have time to do it a lot of the time. And sometimes I will sit and film and post a video. It just depends on how I'm feeling,
Makes
vibes
sense.
and
Fair.
whatever.
Who are some of your inspirations in magic?
Hmm. One of the people that really got me into magic was an old YouTuber who he doesn't post online anymore, but he came like second place on America's Got Talent. His name was like Collins Key.
Okay, I know him. Yeah.
I remember like looking up to him as a kid, and then at a similar age, there was a guy called Ash Magic, Dan Rhodes, and a guy called Joel who were on social media.
Yeah.
Looked up to them a lot. Now, Laura London, I think she's fantastic.
Fair.
And as like cliche as it sounds, it's just like my magician friends. Like we do these like things where we'll like go to like the local pub and we'll all sit and like share what we've learned and exchange tricks and we'll do shows together and it's such like a nice environment. Like I'm in like my local magic circle and I feel like I just look up to people I'm friends with because I can see their progress, they see mine, and you sort of like you help each other out and you've got that friendship as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Why Rogue over another X-Men or superhero?
So Rogue's not even my favorite.
Oh, okay. Which one's your favorite
I just
then?
think um unpopular opinion Cyclops.
Okay, so why him over
Big
the other ones?
um in my 8-year-old mind he was cute, but since then um I think I've read a lot of comic books, and I think he's one of those characters who is a leader,
Okay.
and he definitely like in like one of the comic books, you get to show what it was like when he was younger, and he was like put in this position of like everybody hated him because of something like he did in the future because of time travel, and it was just such like a raw emotional comic book that as someone who's had pressure and like mental health issues, it really just like resonated with me as a kid. And so I do like Cyclops a lot for that. And then other characters like Gambit, obviously, he does cool magic tricks.
Yeah.
Rogue's probably my favorite female. But I think the X Men as a whole, like all of them are amazing because it's all about individuality and inclusivity. And
Okay.
I think that's something, and that like family unit you don't kind of get with like the Avengers, let's say.
Okay. Makes sense. So how do you deal with strange comments in your comment section? Because I've seen some of them. Some people are kind of weird.
Ah, if you think the comments are weird, the text messages are weirder.
Fair.
Um, I feel like as a girl, I walk down the street and I get that. Like it is something that I think it's wrong, but as a young age, you from as a girl, like you really do have to learn how to deal with that. Normally I ignore them or I'll like stab back at them in a way of like, you wish, lol. And recently, it's quite interesting. My long-term partner of 3 years, he's recently made a TikTok account called Sienna Raven's boyfriend, and he'll like sit through and he'll like go through the comments, and someone will be like make a comment about wanting to be in a relationship with me or whatever, and he'd like respond back being like, "Tough luck, bro. Sorry."
Nice.
And it's quite cute. It's quite funny to sort of go through it.
Makes sense. So what's your favorite trick to perform?
Mm, Oh, I don't know. I feel like it depends on my audience. Like it changes like night to night. Like it depends if we're talking like close up, stage, like TikTok, like
All of the above.
all of the above. Uh, on stage, my favorite trick to perform is a signed card tear and restore
Okay.
because the whole message of it, again, I put this like I push this like mental health metaphor of like just because you're broken doesn't mean you're worth it, doesn't mean you can't be fixed. Just because you're folded, you're scarred, doesn't mean you're not worthless. And I think that's always gets that message across, which I think is really important, as well as giving people that magical moment. Um, Up close, I like the more casual street magic style. Um, Anything visual really. I can't say I have a favorite trick. I just want that like shock reaction, screaming, like people filming and everyone freaking out. And I feel like that's very trick dependent, depending on your audience. And then on TikTok, I feel like the my most popular one I've ever posted is Melt, where you have a card that like goes through a bill.
Mhm.
Um, I was one of the first card tricks I learned as a really young kid, and social media just loves it. So
Makes
it probably
sense.
gets some attention.
Okay. So I know you mentioned before that the seven of spades is your favorite card, and one of the reasons it's your favorite is due to it being asymmetrical. What about asymmetry draws you to it?
I just like things that are different.
Okay.
Like I'm so it's asymmetrical, and I don't know. I feel like it just speaks to me because like I'm just so sick of like people trying to shove yourself into a box.
Hmm.
School, like parents, and all just try and like make it you all the same. And I think the sevens being asymmetrical is cool, as well as the fact they sort of like you can do tricks with that. Like you can use them in Magic, which is really cool. And I just think Spades is the sickest suit. I mean, all the sevens are asymmetrical,
Yeah.
but let's be real, Spades is just cool.
Fair. Fair. How long do you practice this trick before you post it?
Anywhere between hours, days in agony, and 20 seconds.
Fair. So I know many times something happens in a trick that the audience thinks is part of the trick, but the magician knows is an accident. Do you have any of those experiences?
Every day, all the time.
What's one of your
And
favorites?
pardon.
What's one of your favorite memories of that?
Um, I mean, this wasn't something I did, but it was a mutual show I did with one of my illusion friends. Is he did like the trick where like the girl levitates, and he got an audience member up, and um the illusion collapsed with an audience member on it,
Hmm.
and I was just stood at the sidelines like, oh my God, because I'm normally the one who gets like levitated and stuff, and it was just, and then like put it back together, and he went, now Sinner, you get on it, and I was like, what? Because it like obviously fucked it up, and I
Yeah,
was, oh. Gotta say, I've never been more scared in my life to be
fair.
in an illusion.
Makes sense.
Um, yeah.
S- So what do you enjoy most about Magic? Is it the mechanics behind a trick, the audience reaction, or is it simply being able to do something that other people can't?
Um, think for tricks, I quite like the audience reaction.
Okay,
I think again, it is all about bringing that sort of joy and that like moment of connection from like person to person. Mechanic wise, I prefer cardistry. I'm not
okay,
very good at it, but I enjoy sitting down and practicing cardistry, then learning sleight of hand moves.
okay, makes sense. If you could perform for anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oof. Um, Gotta be someone like high energy. Maybe like Youngblood. I think he'd
Okay,
like seems like the sort of guy who'd love that sort of shit. And I
definitely.
feel like he'd just go mental, and I think that would just be pretty sick.
Makes sense, makes sense. What's the most memorable reaction you've gotten to a trick?
Um, when I was 15, I was finishing high school and it was the first stand-up magic show I'd ever done for a school performance. And I was like the last act, like I was like the closing act. And the trick I did, it basically ended with like a forced card at the beginning. I had it written on the back of my like t-shirt. And I remember performing this like in like rehearsals to like all the other like there was like all a bunch of 50 like 11-year-olds who were in a choir, so they'd watched it a few times, and I'd used the same card a few times. On the last time I changed it so that it was a shock to them too,
Mhm.
and it was a room of 300 people, and I did this like last reveal, and like, this room of 300 people just stood up, and it was like wow. And
Nice.
it was just like a standing ovation, and for my first performance I'd ever done, past my parents and my friends, it was really something, and I think that really pushed me into pursuing it more.
Okay. So how has social media changed your approach to magic compared to in-person performances?
I feel like it's very separate in my mind. I feel like I don't want to sound like entitled, but I feel like sometimes social media can be really demotivating, and I think that's as like a small creator, I get a lot of positive comments, but it's always that one negative one that like stands out. Um, and there's like I think the thing is like people comment like, I know how you did this because I watched it in slow motion. And it's like, but when I perform it to you in front, you don't put it in slow motion.
Yeah,
That's not like, of course you're gonna see it in slow motion. And I think it made me anxious to perform tricks. I'm like, oh, this person on social media figured it out, and then I have to like realize it's like, okay, well, when they went like frame by frame versus it being right in front of your eyes, it's different. And I think people appreciate magic more when it's in person, because
definitely.
people are always like, oh, it's reversed, it's edited, it's this, it's that. It just drives you a bit crazy sometimes.
Fair, fair. What's one misconception that people have about magic or magicians that irritates you?
Magician are men.
Okay.
Like I've had a lot of people. I'm young. I'm 18, and I know obviously I have quite a teenager look to myself. People just make bad assumptions about me all the time. Even like outside of magic, they just think I'm trouble because of the way I dress and the things I like. And as a magician, like it's a big fear for me. The hardest thing about me doing magic is that expectation of walking into a venue, and obviously a magician is normally top hat, white man with a suit and a tie and a top hat and a rabbit. And then when I walk in to see me, it's either like two reactions. It's either like someone who's a bit more open minded, it's like, oh, cool, or someone thinks like, oh, this is going to be crap, like you're just a kid. And then you amaze them, and then it's like, whoa,
Yeah,
okay.
makes
So,
sense. So your top videos have over millions of views. Why do you think your most viral videos resonated with people more than other ones do?
um, I think I generally don't. I couldn't tell you. Like, I think the I am really clued up on like the way that social media work. Like, it's something I studied in school, and it's all about like algorithms and stuff. And I know it like works in my favor, but as like sucky as it is like as a girl, like I'm aware that half the time I'm getting views because I'm a girl, not because I do magic.
Mhm.
And I think that's where the creepy comments come from and stuff. So like I have sometimes I do have to question. It's like, is it the because I posted the trick or reposted videos and they've had disparities in views, which obviously doesn't make sense. But there is a trick to it. Like as a social media creator yourself, posting at certain times of the day, using certain hashtags, using the certain thumbnails and stuff, all of that stuff definitely helps boost your videos. But if you post a video, 3 p.m. on a Sunday, it's not going to get as many views as if you were to post it at like 10 p.m. on a Friday because people just aren't on their phones at that time. So, You've got to
Okay.
be really clever about it.
Fair, fair. What's your current goal with magic?
Um, to enjoy it.
Okay.
I think I've had so many people in my life put me down for doing it, or people who have pushed me too hard in different directions over it, that I have over the past few years fell in and out of love with it. Like I'll go through months where I'm obsessed with it and I'll spend hours practicing, and then like in 2021, 2022, I didn't touch a pack of cards for a while because of that like difficulty and motivation. So now I just want to enjoy it, and if I make other people happy on the way, then that's great. But I want to do it on my own terms, not someone else's.
Makes sense. So tell me about your Young Minds Foundation that you started.
Yeah, so I started that about a year and a half ago because I feel like as a young person, mental health is really, really important. I've mentioned it a few times. I know I'm always posting online about positive reminders and stuff. But I started it because when I was 16, I lost my best friend to mental health, and that really just changed me as a person. The person I was when I was 16 is not the same person I am now because of that. And whether that's for the better or the worse, I don't think I'll ever know. But whether it's out of guilt or support, I just want to be able to provide a safe space that she didn't have.
Okay, makes sense. What advice would you give to someone just starting out in magic?
Um, do it for yourself, not for someone else. Um, I'd feel like my advice would be don't compare yourself to professionals. Even I struggle with that. I'll watch crazy cardistry online and be like, oh, I can't do that. And I think that's such a damaging like mindset. I think it's really important to just like start with the basics, and it is such a time. I'm so aware it's like such a time consuming hobby. People think, oh, I can do that. I can watch a few videos on YouTube and spend 2 hours and I'll be a pro, and it does take hours of practice. And I think the best practice doesn't come from sitting on your room and doing it over and over again. It comes from going out and performing, going out and messing up, and going out and getting different responses. And that's the best way to learn to practice. So,
Nice. Okay. And then the last question that I have for you is if you could ask your future self one question, what would it be?
my future self, probably just ask them if it will be okay.
Okay.
Like, I feel like life's a bit unpredictable. And I think as a young person, the future's a very scary place at the moment. And I think that reassurance would be nice.
Okay. Makes sense. Well, that's about all I had for you. So thank you for being willing to do
That's it.
this.
It was so much fun. I'm always down.
Glad you enjoyed it. Might have to have you on again at some point in the future.
Mhm. Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. I won't take up any more time. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.